Hi there, my name is Teo Van Dort, and I'm here with Dr. John Harmon and my friend Cheryl, and we're going to share with you an amazing opportunity, and I'm going to tell you how it came about. So, Cheryl, I got introduced to by my friend Mark Attwood, and Mark and I have been friends for over a decade. And he said to me, Teo, he said, I've been sharing about these astonishing stem cell patches that work with phototherapy. And he said, and I've been sharing them with my audience because he's got a huge YouTube channel. And he said, and the results people have been getting are amazing. And he said, you really ought to share this with your communities. And so he introduced me to Cheryl, and then Cheryl's explained to me about these amazing products. And now I've got some of these amazing products and I've been using them. And John is an expert in this, and Cheryl said, well, why don't we do an interview with John and he can share all about it. So that's where we're at, and that's why we're doing that here. So maybe John, if you could just introduce yourself and sort of describe your background.
My name is Dr. John Harmon, and I came across this technology, this stem cell activation patch, back in April of 2020. My background, I'm actually a licensed chiropractor, but I don't do chiropractic anymore. We had some life-altering emotional trauma in my family back in 2010 and 2011, where within a 1-year period of time, my 18-year-old niece committed suicide. Then my oldest daughter's husband was murdered. And then my younger daughters were a mess with anxiety, depression, and insomnia. So I initially went on a journey to try to find things to fix their brains because I'm the dad, right? I gotta help them. And then I didn't stumble on it. I was led down a path to find things that help people get their brains right. And then I founded a place called Clear Mind, Idaho. And so that's what we do. I got board certified in QEEG and neurofeedback, and we do microcurrent neurofeedback. We do cold laser therapy and some functional neurology to balance out the brain. So that's a little bit of my background. I had some pretty badly degenerated knees from being a crazy skier and breaking my leg and tearing my cartilage. And a friend of mine said, he called me up and said, hey, what do you know about stem cells? And I said, well, I've had stem cell injections on both knees. They helped a little bit. And he said, what if you could elevate your own stem cell production by wearing a little patch on your body? And I was a little bit perplexed because it didn't make any sense. But then I found out that it actually uses energy that your body's already making and then reflects a portion of that back into you as a specific frequency that signals some very good things to happen in your body that we'll talk about, that leads to your body making your own stem cells. So I said, that's going to be big. I'm in. Let's go. And so ever since then, I've been telling people about it. I still have a full-time practice, and I use these patches. There was a brain study done that showed how beneficial it is for brains, and so we incorporated this into my protocols in my practice. That's kind of my background. Also, I have 10 kids and 26 grandkids.
Wow.
There's a lot wrapped up in that, let me tell you.
I bet there is. I've only got 2, and that's a handful. You've got 5 times as many. That's amazing.
That's crazy.
Just think, between the parents, the kids, and the grandkids, we've got like 4 or 5 birthdays every month.
Oh my God, that's crazy. Yeah, you need this patch just to keep getting younger, John, right?
Just to
Keep up with them.
provide, fodder for my habit of buying presents.
Yeah. And what John hasn't shared with you is he's 104. So these things work.
Looks fantastic.
I am going to be 70 on my next birthday, though. So.
You are not. That's astonishing. Wow.
The big 7-0.
You look incredible. So what significant changes have you personally experienced in your health and well-being since you use this technology? Cheryl, I'm going to ask that question to you first.
Yeah. It's amazing because mine started out very small. I had a lesion on my nose for 2.5 years, and it was cancerous, and they were going to cut it off. And I said, okay, so let me start on these patches. 4 weeks later, it was gone. never reappeared. And I'm telling you, I get younger and younger. People are like, what the hell are you doing? I'm going to be 69. And so people are like, okay, yeah. And I'm like, I wear these here. You guys got to do this. I mean, it's amazing. It actually is a preventative patch, and it actually saved my husband from cancer. And I can't, I know I'm not supposed to say that in a broader sense, but it did. It encapsulated it. So he was on the patches for 11 months and never said, "Mom, sure, this isn't doing anything. Why do I have to take this patch every day? What are you paying for? Blah, 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 every day." And 11 months later, his intestine colon blew up and we had to go to emergency surgery. It had a blockage. And the doctor said he's never seen anything like it. It was totally encapsulated. And he says that he doesn't know what did it, what happened, but something saved it. And I know it was the stem cells.
Wow.
So it's pretty amazing. And that was just two of the stories. The people we have on the product, incredible stories.
I was having a look at the testimonial group that you added me,
Yes.
where people are just, uploading their own stories, and it's just astonishing to
Yeah.
see the difference that it's making in people's lives. I was reading, I just feel better. Sleep is so much deeper. Performance is more intense. My wounds heal so fast. I feel better. I look younger. My recovery time after exercise, sleep, energy, it's just like on and on and on. People are having amazing results. And so,
oh yeah, I was going to say that with the X39 I wear every day. I worked out this morning intensively. I'm not sore. The girl I worked out with is dying. She's like, oh my God. I said, you got to put the X49 on. It's amazing. And I have a knee replacement, and every time I go through the airport, I used to set off the alarms until I started wearing the X49. I don't set off the alarms anymore. I go right through.
wow. There's
That's how powerful that is.
all these amazing benefits. And what about you, John? What have you experienced personally, and also in your patients?
Yeah, I started using the X39 in April of 2020, right when this whole COVID thing started. And I already had a knee replacement scheduled 5 months later because it was severely degenerated and actually kind of deformed. It was my surgeon said, "I've never seen anything like your knee."
It was really bad, John. I saw a picture. I was like,
literally
wow.
bone on bone.
Yeah.
And I used to do prolozone injections, which is the ozone, B vitamins, and procaine, and it got me out of pain. And the surgeon said, "What do you?" I've never seen anything like your knee. It was like a polished knob. How are you walking? Well, it was those prolozone injections. But I had that surgery scheduled, and I was using the X39. Now, I had PVCs my entire life, preventricular contractions. That's where your heart skips a beat every once in a while. It's not dangerous. They really don't do anything for it, but it was uncomfortable.
Mm.
Well, about 4.5 months in of using the X39, these PVCs got really rhythmic and regular. They were every fifth beat, day and night, day and night. It was just weird. And I thought, man, there's something going on with my heart. I better make an appointment with the cardiologist. So I'm really glad I did, because he did a stress echocardiogram. And after that stress echocardiogram, he came in and he said, your body, your heart really responded well to exercise. You just have this right bundle branch block and these PVCs. Excuse me. And I said, well, what causes those? He said, well, we go through a process called apoptosis where, we lose cells. Your body kills off old cells. You just can't replace them in the heart as fast. And in fact, when the heart heals, it heals with scarring rather than replacing cells. And I thought, I know what's going on. I increased my stem cells. I have no proof of this, by the way. I increased my stem cells so much that it's able to start repairing it, and they don't know how to beat yet, and they're all misfiring at the same time. That was my thought. Well, 2 weeks later, the PVCs were gone. And then a year and a half later, I had another stress echo, and the report came back, right bundle branch block no longer present. 2 different doctors have said, I've never seen one of those go away. So can I say it was 100% from the patch? Not 100%, but it's highly likely that that's what it was. I didn't do anything else, and they've never seen him go away. So I feel really lucky. But the key was I didn't even know I had it when I first started using the patch. I'd been using it for 4.5 months when I had the first stress echo, and that's when I found out. So had I not had that stress echo, something that I didn't even know I had would have gone away without my knowledge. So I always tell people, be careful what you're using as metrics to determine whether or not this patch is working. It could be doing all kinds of different things that you don't feel. Unless you have pain that goes away, that's really easy, or something, a cancerous thing on your nose.
Yeah.
You may not feel something, but when you elevate your own stem cells, every part of your body is going to benefit. And I wanted to speak a little bit to that cancer. We don't make any claims on that. And by the way, I am a doctor. I'm not your doctor. And we're not making any claims as far as treatment or cures or making recommendations or anything like that. But in the literature, and this is in the book that I wrote, it's the changes in my heart that motivated me to write this book, How to Reverse Aging. And there are 91 references to studies that have been done on the peptide that is proven to get elevated in your bloodstream when you wear the X39. So to determine any potential benefit of the patch, one just needs to turn to the research. The literature is rich about research that's been done on what are the benefits of this GHK copper peptide. One of them is it turns off 25 cancer genes that people who are predisposed to cancer are born with. It turns them off. It resets the cellular death cycle of cancer cells. This is from the literature, from the research. So once you know that, it doesn't seem so far-fetched that it had such a profound effect on Cheryl's nose.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
It's there's so much to this as well, and you've written a whole book about it, which we're going to cover in a moment. But I think we should just go back to basics. So in layman's terms, how do these LifeWave patches work?
That is the most brilliant biohack I've ever heard of. Okay, to understand that, if you go through, in fact, I have a slide that I could show for that. I think it would be very helpful. Okay, so we're going to go down a bit, right down here. So everybody knows when you go out in the sun, somehow magically we get vitamin D. Well, what happens is that we know that vitamin D is not in the air and it's not in the UV light. Well, we have trillions of nano antennas in our skin, and the frequency of the UVB light excites those nano antennas. And that is interpreted by the body as ramp up the vitamin D factory. And so we start making vitamin D. Similarly, when we put the patch on, well, let me give you a little background first, a little seed for thought here. So when we go into a jewelry store and we walk up to the diamond cabinet, the diamonds are mostly clear, but we see all of these colors, yellow and red and green and purple and blue. And what the heck is that? Well, the diamonds are separating or refracting out the different wavelengths of light that are interpreted by our eyes and our brain as colors. That's what happens when you put the patch on. The patch has a crystal lattice structure that doesn't exist in nature, that was developed by the inventor. And so when we put the patch on, what happens is our body is the power source. Bioluminescence has been measured. We actually glow. It's even in the visible light. We just can't, it's not bright enough to see with our eyes. So David Schmidt, the inventor, captured this, figured out how to selectively reflect back in a wavelength or frequency that turns on the GHK copper peptide factory, like going out in the sun, UV light, you get vitamin D. You put the patch on, you get your body makes GHK copper peptide. So it's the only phototherapy product used in the human body as a power source. That's how they work.
That's
And then we
absolutely.
pray.
And
We
that,
place them on various points, and we can go over that a little bit later. But that is the mechanism of that's how the patches work. They're reflecting back a very specific frequency of your own body's energy or light back into you that is used then like a light switch to turn on a pathway.
it's absolutely fantastic how that
Yeah.
works. And this is the patch. I mean, Cheryl just showed you one that she's wearing there, but this is basically it. So it's got a sticky on the back, and as you said, this can just be put on anywhere on the body, and you wear it for 12 hours on, 12 hours off. Is that correct?
Correct. And the reason for that is the body will stop responding to any light therapy after a short period of time. Like I use lasers in my clinic, and the protocols are anywhere between 2 and 6 minutes. After that, the body is like, it's absorbed all the photons it needs, and nothing happens after that. It won't hurt you to leave it on, but the body stops responding after about 12 hours.
Okay. And how do the patches then use the sort of the stem cell science to help people?
Okay, that's an excellent question. So in the literature, the GHK copper peptide is known to turn on the genes that tell our body to make pluripotent stem cells. Pluripotent just means I can become any cell. If you need a bone cell, I'm there for you. If you need a liver cell, I'm there for you. A skin cell, whatever, they morph into the cells that are needed in your body. So if you can elevate your own pluripotent stem cells, all parts of your body are going to benefit, because whatever cell you need, that pluripotent stem cell can become. So that's the connection. It's proven in the literature, it activates stem cell production. It's proven in the literature that it basically turns on the genes that tell your body to make more stem cells. But we don't actually get stem cells. They're not stem cell patches. They're stem cell activation patches. The purpose of them is to elevate the GHK copper peptide, and that was actually proven in a double-blind, randomized, placebo-controlled study of blood tests of the people in the study. They measured their blood pre and then during wearing the patch, and it showed that it drastically increased the GHK copper peptide in the bloodstream. That's why the connection. What does the literature say about the GHK? Well, we know it elevates GHK. Let's talk about what the literature says about the science behind it.
There's a website actually that you've shared with me called startx39now.com, and we'll put the link to all of these below the videos. But I was going through that website, and I could see that there's huge numbers of scientific papers on there that are showing, because I told a friend of mine about this, and he was like, yeah, it sounds too good to be true. He was like, stem cells are super expensive. You have to go for the operation. You've got to find out where they get them from. I said, no, this is different. I said, it actually encourages your body to create its own. And he was like, nah, that doesn't work. So I sent him to the website, and he's a real science mind. So I sent him to the website, and he was like, yeah, it all sounds too good to be true. And I was like, you're such a skeptic. So then I said to him, go look at the scientific studies. I said, because you like reading those. I like reading Harry Potter to my kids. You like reading scientific studies. I said, you have a look at those. And then he started looking. He said, you know what, Teo? There might be something to this. I was like,
you think? That's great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's good. So you wrote the book. I'm just going to read the name of your book here because I can't remember it. How to Reverse Aging.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
I'll do that, and I'll show you a picture. So after the thing happened, my heart issue went away, I said, you know what? People have to know about this. Here's this little patch for $3.33 a day, and all of this benefit came from it. So one of my goals in life is to remember who I am when I'm old, and not be meeting a new person in my house every 15 minutes who's my spouse, and to be able to be the one who goes to visit people and travel. Those three things are true. There's a lot going on that's good. And there isn't a more simple, way of maintaining my health with energy I'm already making and elevating my own stem cells. So to help me stay healthy and young, kind of, the accepted way is that you're going to this steady march into descending down into frailty and disability. But in the book, I talk about it doesn't have to be that way. You can stay vital, keep things healthy throughout your later years, and then whenever that happens, but not be able to walk and not be able to function. Your liver doesn't work anymore. Your eyes don't work. I haven't been to my eye doctor in 3 years. And I went back and he says, and I'm almost 70. He said, your vision hasn't changed a bit. I don't wear glasses at night anymore. I used to. But my whole thing is staying healthy. And I don't know of any better way than to do that than elevating a person's stem cells. So I wrote the book. There are 3 chapters in the book just on the brain. There was a brain study done showing the benefit, but as far as the brain is concerned, they help prevent degeneration of the neurons. The average person loses 9,000 neurons a day, and we only replace 2,000 of them. And so there's a net loss every day. So I ask people, what are you doing to increase the regeneration? And what are you doing to stop the loss? The GHK copper peptide is essential in building new neurons, building neurotransmitters, building synapses in the brain. And the more of those you maintain, the more you remember stuff and be able to coordinate things and correlate things and learn new things. That's what neuroplasticity is all about. And one more thing about the brain. The brain has to have copper in order to make neurons, neurotransmitters, synapses, and a substance called brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Don't get confused by that. It's just the stuff that your brain makes when you do something every day for at least 45 seconds. It goes, hey, she's probably going to want to do that again. We should probably make more neurons to make better connections so she can do it better. BDNF has to have copper. Well, the beginning of the story of copper in your brain is it's the GHK copper peptide that transports it through the blood-brain barrier and delivers it when you need it, where you need it in the brain. And so it holds on to that copper until it's needed, so you don't have a free copper buildup in your brain, because that's toxic. So when it's incorporated into the GHK copper peptide, it's not free copper. Holding on to it, and it's like a chaperone, taking it in through the blood-brain barrier and then delivering it when it's needed. That's how important that peptide is for brain health.
And you know what? This sounds complicated. And if I was sitting at home watching this right now, I'd go, well, this is super complicated. But actually, there's no complicated nature to it, because you take this patch, you put it on, and then it does the work for you.
That's right.
You don't have to know all the science. I just happen to like studying it. So I studied it for you.
Yeah.
You did it for us.
Lean on me.
Yeah. And the thing I think is really cool too is the patch is basically self-diagnosing. Your body knows exactly where to go first. Like mine went to here. John started on his heart. Wherever it needs to go the first to make the most impact in your health, that's what it does. You don't know where it's going, but it's self-diagnosis. Is that right, John?
Yeah, well, yes, the GHK acts as a homing device for your stem cells, where they're supposed to go. It's just that's in the research too. It's like it jumpstarts the whole process by attracting those stem cells to where they need to go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's so cool. So Cheryl, tell us a little bit about how people can get hold of these amazing patches.
Well, all you really have to do is when we're done, go to the the website. You can order them. You can be a customer, a preferred customer. Or you can sign in as a brand partner. That's the part of the where you actually can build a business if you want, but you don't have to. You can just experience the patches. So the X39 is probably one of the staple patches. That's something that I told my husband I'm going to be buried in it. Whenever, when I go, I want my patch right back there. He's like, oh my God. And the only other one we really love is the Eon, which is a patch that pulls down total body inflammation. And those two work very well hand in hand together.
Okay. Because I know there's a range of different patches, but I always feel with these things that it's easier just to, to go with the most popular ones first. And then if you decide, hey, these are really working for me, then looking at different other options that are there as well.
That's right.
And when you talked about it as a business, this often can put people's heckles up. So, oh, what is a business? But we talk about sovereignty and creating sovereignty of individuals, and and also trying to get people out of sort of the job and into something where they can create some passive income. And so with complete transparency, should you decide that you wanted to try these LifeWave patches, then we will receive some reciprocal cash for that, which is fair. That's the way businesses work. And I guess the way that corporations work is they have these huge budgets to spend on marketing. And, we'll spend it on TV advertising or radio ads or website ads and other things. And all this is really is a customer business, because it's in a way that, Mark said to me, wow, this is really working well for people. I go look at the testimonial page on Telegram, and there's just page after page of people going, wow, this really works for me. And there's a way that our viewers, if they want to, can share it with other people, and then they can earn some passive income from that too. And it's not MLM, it is MLM, sorry, but it's not pyramid, it's not Ponzi where only the people at the very top get paid. This is just basically, instead of giving the marketing budget out to lots of other people, they're giving it to the people that are doing the word of mouth advertising, just like you're doing, Cheryl, just like you're doing, John, and sharing this amazing information with people. So tell us a little bit about how that works.
Go ahead, John.
Okay. So when you enroll as a brand partner, first of all, you get all of your products at wholesale. And then you can simply share it. We kind of organically talk about health with people, especially after the last 4 years. It's like, how are you doing after this thing? And how are your lungs? And so the conversation centers around health. And what I've been doing for almost 4 years now is say, you know what? I think I found something that may be able to help you with fill in the blank. Do you mind if I send you a link to a short video? No, that's fine. Copy, paste. The video tells the story, and then they get introduced to this remarkable little phototherapy patch that elevates your stem cells. It's really a simple business. You truly do not have to know all of the science. You don't have to build an infrastructure. You don't have to have employees. You don't have to have human resources. You don't have to have shipping department. You simply tell somebody, the company sends them the product and sends you a commission, and then you build a team. Like Cheryl and Mark and everybody, they're on my team. I don't know the people that has spread to in Estonia or Australia or Ireland. But I want to tell you, if you're a healthcare provider, your practice is built upon your presence. People come to you because you are face-to-face with them, unless you have something else set up. But most of the time, you have to be in front of that patient. What if something happens? I never asked myself that question until after I got osteomyelitis in my wrist from a root canal and couldn't go to work and almost died. Couldn't go to work for 2.5 months. So I was really open to listening to having another source of income that's not dependent upon my presence. And you know what? I still have my full-time practice. And eventually I will sell that because my LifeWave business has grown so big. And the older I get, the less I want to be indoors. And I want to just go places like Indonesia, Bali, and wherever it is. And we've done that. a lot of trips because of the extra kind of fund money that LifeWave has brought in. So it's been interesting to build a business part-time that has turned into full-time money. Not only that, the type of people that get attracted to LifeWave are people who really want to help another person with their health. It's almost like we're a whole collection of healthcare providers we don't have licenses, but we have that heart, and we just share these and we try to help people, and then the money follows.
Yeah. The betterment of society. I think that's what the majority of us are trying to do. Find any which way we can to help people live healthier, better lives and better quality of lives as well. And I think this is, and we've never shared anything like this before with the community, but I've because I trust Mark, and having built a relationship with Cheryl, and I trust her, and we've only just met today, but you seem like a very authentic man, John. So I think this is a wonderful opportunity. But for somebody that's got no interest in that whatsoever and just wants to try the patches, so then we're going to put a website underneath. I think I'll put 2 different web pages up. I'll put up a web page for people that are interested in potentially taking this on as a sort of a side business, and then also those that just would like to purchase the patches, or at least try them out. And with regards to the person who's watching this going, I've heard it all before, I am skeptical, what would you say to them?
Well, I was too. I been in, I'm in healthcare. It sounded way too good to be true to me, and this is why I dug deep into the science of it, because I wanted to know. And over a period of 3 years, I prepared 3 different PowerPoint presentations. And then when that whole thing changed with my heart, I said, somebody's got to put this into a resource so people can reference it. So, looking at the literature, the company doesn't say it does all of these health benefits. The company doesn't do studies on disorders. The company has a study that was done that showed that wearing the patch elevates the peptide. All of the rest of it comes from the research. So it's not, you can doubt stuff because somebody's just saying it. That's not it at all. It's based on the research that's been done all over the world. So that meant a lot to me when I found out that it wasn't just people saying stuff and testimonials. Those are great. But when the science backs it up, not the science, when science backs it up, there's no the science. There's scientific literature and things like that. So that's what I based it on, and that's what I would recommend people do. Is do your own research if it's skeptical. But there are millions of people worldwide in 80 countries who are having success with them, all over the world. So. The company has gone from 50 million in sales in just a few short years to $500 million. So something must be working.
Yeah, and the company's been since 2004, hasn't it? So this is its 20th anniversary.
20-year anniversary.
That's exactly what I thought too. At first, and I've been in 16 other network marketing companies, guys, only because I believe that network marketing companies or direct selling have superior products because they don't have to worry about pharma and this and that and all the other regulations. They concentrate on their products. And so when I heard about this, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Stem cells. Yeah. But I like John did the research. I was like, okay, wait, this is way too simple. This is like the perfect product because you put it on and you take it off. I mean, it was so simple. Put it on and take it off. And then the results I've read, like you did, Theo, was like unbelievable stories about this company could not be in existence for 20 years and it not be real and true, Plus, I think David, his integrity, his heart, where he comes from, which is our CEO and the inventor, is just, it trickles right down through the rest of the company. It's just a phenomenal company.
You can see that, and what I liked about this so much is that I think the fact that it's really like an internal repair system for the body. It seems to be safe.
That's good.
It seems to be non-invasive. it's safe, it's non-invasive, it's cost-effective, and it seems to me, and I would ask this, that it's completely clear of any drugs or chemicals, because it's your body that's actually doing the work itself because of that copper peptide, and because it's naturally producing the light that you showed us in that slideshow a few moments ago. I mean, we see our body produces light, and again, from the horribleness of the last 3 years, when you've had to walk through one of those scanners at the airport, whether they see whether you've got a temperature or not, you can see that we are light beings. And so that absolutely makes sense that it works.
Oh, absolutely. You know, and I think too, people are starting to realize that, and starting to realize they need to take control of their own health and their own bodies, you know, and this patch gives you that power. It's kind of like turning you on, you know, your immune system, your health. It starts to activate your brain. My 84-year-old neighbor was in the second stage of Alzheimer's, and I started her on the patches, and now she is like, her doctor said, "What did you do?" It totally reversed it.
One of the most remarkable things that happened when I first started sharing these, I shared them with Dr. Rostenberg, and he's the MPHFR guy online. You can look him up, but he's a friend of mine. He started his practice inside of my practice, and he was very skeptical as well. But he started giving some out to some patients, and this one woman, her husband was in pretty good advanced cognitive decline, and so she got a sample of 4 patches from him. It was the weekend, and she put them on every day. After a couple of days, he went from just slumped over in a chair staring at the floor to actually up and about and talking with people. And she was waiting at his door Monday morning. So I got to get some more of these patches. I'm out. And he's talking and he's moving around. But that was really meaningful to me, because I wasn't one of the people who had an immediate result. There's some people, I call them a one patch wonder. They put it on, something changes immediately. Mine was slow and progressive over a period of a couple of years when the right bundle branch block went away. It's really, really encouraging when someone has an immediate result. But I tell people, don't expect that. It's a long-term regeneration. We do have some other patches that are fast acting for pain, but that's another topic, another day. The X39 is long-term regeneration. And once you start elevating your stem cells, you don't want to be a day without it. So stay on a subscription, because you're going to abandon something half built. You know, it's starting to regenerate something. You want to finish the task. And people will ask, well, once I start using them, do I need to keep using them? And I'm a little sarcastic at times. And I say, well, I'll tell you what, when you want the aging process to speed up, stop using them.
That's
and
true.
As you said, as it works out to like $3.33 a day. I mean, I don't know how much a cup of coffee is now in the US, but when I was there in last September 2023, I was quite amazed at how expensive everything was. And people will think, oh, I'm not spending $3.33 a day on that. But then I always remind people, well, you're quite happy to spend, you know, however many dollars on a tank of gas for your car. And yet this vehicle is the most important vehicle that we have. You know, you're quite happy to take your car or your motorbike or your truck to be serviced and spend money on that. But this is the most important vehicle we have. This beautiful skin suit that we've been gifted.
I'll tell you what's expensive.
That's
staying in a hospital because you didn't take care of your body. That's what's expensive.
Yeah.
Actually dangerous as well.
And I tell people, you either invest in the pharmaceutical company and the hospitals, or you invest in yourself.
Yeah.
It's simple.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's almost like, I mean, again, we're not giving any medical advice, but it's almost like an insurance policy for your
Yeah, exactly.
health. Yeah.
That is so true. I mean, and you know what? The thing is, you don't stop, because it works. The science is there. So many people, like John said, give it time and believe in it. Understand that the science has already been proven. And you know what? A lot of people might go through detoxing. A lot of people might have some issues in the beginning, like, wait, this patch is making me do this and this. It's detoxing. You've got to give it time to get rid of the crap that's probably in there. You know, let it detox and then it rebuild.
Oh
It's
my
On
God,
that point,
I did a six week detox last year, and just could not believe how ill I got in the middle of it. As my
good.
body was getting itself better, as my body was getting itself back into homeostasis. And
Mhm.
and I always imagine homeostasis as a heart rate monitor. You watch the beat go up and down, the line go up and down. And I think
Yeah.
when you're homeostasis, it's normal. But the body's once our body gets into huge amounts of stress, that normal goes either higher or lower, and then you start to see, and then the raised level becomes your new homeostasis. But actually, we need to get ourselves back to the base level. But I am not a medical doctor. That's just how I visualize what happens inside us when we're getting ourselves better.
Yeah.
well, that's absolutely true. And when you think of the patch, or people would say, are there side effects? There aren't side effects. Anything outside of what is expected has to do with someone's detox pathways, or
Right.
the drainage funnel. So if you have blockages in the bowel, or hiccups in the kidneys, or the gallbladder, liver, or the lymphatic system, or the skin, or any of those things besides the skin, your body has to get rid of it somehow, and it will seek to do that. When we've been dysfunctional for a long time, and we lose our ability to make energy, so ATP, so the cells can't detox, so they start storing it. They store it in fat, so it creates as few symptoms as possible. It's just stored there. But now you have this toxic load. Now, when you start detoxing, it starts digging out those, pulling out those toxins, running them through your system to get them out. That's why you felt worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt great afterwards, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's usually part of getting well.
That's right. You got
Yeah.
to get rid of the crap to get the good stuff.
So you two are the experts at this. What's the one question that I haven't asked that I should be asking? Now I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, geez.
Wow, put us on the spot.
Yeah. I was like,
Well, while you
wow.
think about that, I'll just explain. So I'm going to put links underneath this video, wherever you're watching it, whether you're watching it on a social media platform or whether you're watching it on a web page. And so there'll be a link that's going to take you to find out more about the patches, the X39 Start Now that I showed you earlier. And there you can see testimonials, you can see all the scientific research papers, and there's different videos that explain how the patches work and what it does for the system. So that's a great educational resource. Then there's going to be a page that you can go to where you can just place an order for the product. And then there's also going to be a place where, if you would like to find out more about potentially doing this yourself as a business and creating some extra income for you, and by just literally sharing it with friends and family, there'll be a resource there, and that's going to connect you directly to Cheryl, and she'll hold your hand through that process as well, which is super kind of you, Cheryl. Thank you.
Absolutely.
So now you've had enough thinking time. Was there?
Well, my question to most people is, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you invest in yourself? Why wouldn't you try it? Why wouldn't you put a patch on yourself and start to rejuvenate, reactivate, and just feel amazing? To me, it just makes so much sense because it's way too easy, and you will reap such huge benefits.
I see
And I would
that as
say,
my only objection I can see that people are going to have to that is I know that a huge number of people are really struggling financially at this moment in time. So if that is a
Let me
block.
raise my hand.
Okay.
I understand that, but I think most people don't understand your body is alchemist, and it makes all the vitamins you need, and the GHK and the stem cells will start to rev that up. So by the end of the first month, I stopped all my vitamins. The only thing I started taking was my minerals, because your body makes everything and you start to feel better. And so I was able to cross off $250 a month of vitamins. Okay, so there's certain things you can do as your body gets better that you can let go. Okay.
in the back cover of my book, the first sentence is, do you have supplement fatigue? And that is, are you taking all kinds of different things to try to support your body?
Too
Well,
much.
here's the bad news. Some of those pathways don't even work really well without having ample GHK.
Mm-hmm.
And they get diagnosed or not diagnosed. They have so many disorders, there's so many symptoms that don't fit any one particular name. And so the doctor doesn't even know what to tell them what they have. They have this, and this, but it's not
Right.
characteristic of one disorder. So they don't even have a diagnosis. But part of it is our ability to make GHK starts to decline after about the age of 30. And for some reason, whatever it is, if you can restore that to the time period of when you were in your 20s, when we didn't have wrinkles, when we didn't have, we didn't even talk about the benefits for skin and hair. My hair used to be really gray, and it
was
starting turning brown from back to front. In fact, I have a picture of the top of my head when it was happening. Well, let me just show that. Do you have time?
Yeah, it was interesting.
Please go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think that is so true, John.
What's that?
I think that is so true, because we make everything except for vitamin C and D. And so when your body starts to really come in homeostasis and creating all that, you don't have to have all that other supplement, because you don't know what it's doing anyway. To be honest, I took so many supplements and I never knew if it ever did anything.
No, and your body doesn't absorb a huge amount of it anyway. A lot of it gets excreted.
Yeah. Yeah. Look at that. Oh, we just missed it.
Well, I had it, and then I did
there we go, John.
That's how gray my hair used to be.
Wow.
And here it is turning brown from back to front. That was at about 4.5 months.
Wow.
Here's my here's my first stress echo, right? Compatible with an RBBB. Here's my second one, and I zoom in down here where it says right bundle branch block no longer present. And then I got this on the My Chart app. Everything looks great. The study was normal. No issues needed or noted. So that was a great day for me, my 10 kids, my wife, my 26 grandkids, and onward with the second half of my life.
That's right, and more.
Right.
Well, I just want to say a huge thank you to you both for sharing your time with us, because time is the most precious thing we have. And I'm fascinated. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to, for continuing to take these on a. I'm relatively healthy. I'm one of those people that I haven't had a measurable effect, within a week and a half of taking these, but knowing what you've shared and these things, I'm like, I have no idea what's going on inside me. The majority of us don't. And as you say, if it's going to go off and find what needs fixing first, then keep going. Well done. Thank you so much, X39 Patches.
That's right. That's right. I mean, just don't stop. Don't just believe in what it's doing in the science. You have everything to gain.
Yeah, absolutely. And if people do have questions and then they send questions back to me, I can reach out to you two to help with answering things that I may not know. Is that okay?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, we would love to come back on another,
What I would love also to do is to, once people have used them for a month or two, to actually, get people to write to us to tell us how they're getting on with them. And then, because that's always the best proof that this is what we're starting to make changes into our community's lives as well. So
absolutely. That would be fun.
That would be great fun. So Cheryl, Dr. John, thank you so much for sharing your time with us. And all the details are going to be underneath this video. So wishing you a beautiful day wherever you are.
All right. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Great chat.
Happy patching.